Hi, and welcome to pmplounge.com. This is Lounge Fever, wherein we tackle your burning questions. Question for the day: what happens after a change request is approved? So, this is, of course, part of change management, and we have been covering change management quite a bit for the last few days over here. I'll link to the entire playlist on change management in the description below, so check that out. Get familiar with change management, get familiar with change control board, change control system, change requests, and all other good stuff about change management. So what happens after your change request is approved? And by now we already know that change requests are approved or rejected by the change control board. So let's say there is a change in your project. You take it to the change control board, it is approved. What happens next? Let's get started. Time to party? Okay, so if your change is approved, do you go out and party? Well, not necessary. Actually, that's where a lot of work actually begins for the project manager, right? Because once your change is approved, the project manager need to change the project management plan to incorporate the change. So what that means is you have a baseline project management plan, right? Now, if there is a change to it, you need to incorporate that change and you need to get it baseline again. How do you get that baseline? It could be different for different organizations. The typical way is to get it signed by all the major stakeholders. So if there's a change in the project management plan, you incorporate that change and you send that project management plan out to all the stakeholders and get their approval and get their baseline votes, and this results in a new baseline. So time to party maybe some other time, but for now, if your change is approved, you need to make changes, accommodate those changes in your project management plan. An example is if there is a change in the schedule, happens so often, right? If there is a change in the project schedule, right, which means new project schedule baseline will be available, right? Once you incorporate the change in the project schedule, right? So a new project baseline needs to be available. That means every major key stakeholder, right? Every major stakeholder needs to sign on this new project schedule, which would result in a new project schedule baseline, and this will correspond to certain changes in the project management plan, which the project manager needs to make. And this is an example of what happens after your change request is approved. Now, there's one more concept which I would like to discuss in this video, and that is known as change log. So, every change that is reviewed by the change control board, it is recorded in the change log, and it is oftentimes, most often, it is the responsibility of the project manager to kind of maintain a change log for his or her own projects. There are situations, there are organizations and departments that give this responsibility to the PMO, or gets someone from the CCB to nominate and update and maintain the change log for all the projects, right? But there are also times where each individual project manager is responsible to maintain the change log for their own project. So every change is recorded in the change log. This is not dependent on whether the change request was accepted or rejected. So whether your change request is accepted, whether it is rejected, nonetheless, it needs to be there in the change log. So the decision, right, the CCB decision, whether the change request was accepted or rejected, it goes into the change log. And every organization may have its own change log template, right? So there's no universal change log template. Every organization may have its own. So that's change log for you, an important concept for sure. Very important for every project to have a change log to keep track of what are the changes, what were the changes proposed during the entire course of the project, which ones were accepted, which ones were rejected, and things like that. So that is all that we had in this small video. Hope you learned something new about change management. Hope you understood what happens after the changes are approved or rejected, and hope you understood the concept of change log as well. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/PMP Lounge and twitter.com/PMP Lounge. As always, do check out the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.